So the video that you're about to watch is on a phrase, a topic that I'm going to coin that God gave me the revelation of, and it is called the paper cut abuse. Okay, I want you to watch this video. I want you to listen with your revelatory ears so that you can hear beyond the surface. And I pray that this video blesses you, it encourages you, but I also hope that it starts to give you language to what some may be experiencing. Enjoy.
Can't keep going back to what I used to know.
So I speak about environment often, especially being a part of the space of the mindset coaching, mindset midwife space, because it can literally alter the rest of your life. When you are in environments where you are accumulating paper cuts, over time, those paper cuts start to create a compounded interest of pain that are not always easy to detect as to where it started or where it came from, but you end up being on fire and in pain and not knowing why. The reason why I highlight that is because when God gave me this revelation about silent abuse, a lot of times we only see abuse as something that we can see with our natural eyes. So something that is physical, something that leaves a bruise or injury. We do not recognize or give as much awareness to the silent abuse, being in environments where there's all of these microaggressions and expressions, where you're constantly being daggered at. And I'm talking about mostly not just as adults, but which, by the way, this also affects adults as well. But if it's happening from childhood and up, if you are constantly in environments and around community where you are not being supported, encouraged, life spoken into, where you are not seen in the best light, where your shortcomings are constantly being brought up to you as a reminder to stay in your place, because the messaging, whether it be direct or indirect, whether it be subliminal or bold and in your face, the messaging is being sent on a regular basis with the intent to keep you stuck. If it's something you dealt with as a child, what will happen is if you are familiar with that type of environment, by default, if you don't heal these areas, you will then go after, crave, and seek for environments that are very similar to what you know. If it's something that you all of a sudden started to do as an adult, you'll see it, but then eventually you'll be like, this is not working. I don't want this. I don't want to keep doing this. I need to get up out of here. And you may not always know what that is. You may not always know why. You may not always be able to put your finger on it, which is why it can be very secretive, because what you are experiencing and what a person is facing and processing is tiny little secret paper cuts. I said this to my children a while ago. I said, and this is because there was something they had to recognize for themselves. They're homeschooled. And so we talk a lot about just character development and just emotional intelligence and awareness, spatial awareness and all the things, and self-awareness, right? So in discussing this topic, they were able to give me some legitimate examples of what that looks like. And I want to say it was my youngest daughter who mentioned, she said, it almost feels like it's the silent abuse that seems to hurt more or cause more injury. And I promise you, when she said this, I was like, oh, my baby is aware. Okay, she is aware. Now, I posted a video a little bit ago speaking to the fact that let's not give into the whole topic of comparison. It's not to say this is worse or best, but I do want to highlight that a lot of the times when there is this secret battle that you can't quite put your finger on, it ends up deceptively, stealthily ruining you from the root up. And you look up one day and you say, how did I get here? Why did I get here? What happened? And you start wondering, how did this even happen? And it is the silent abuses, the silent microaggressions, which I like to call microaggressions paper cuts. They're very thin. They go undetected, but you know that they're there because the moment anything hits it, it starts to sting. And imagine if you are picking up tiny paper cuts day in, day out, not just over a day or two, but 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, right? What ends up happening is you are now walking around hypersensitive, hyper aware, hyper irritated, hyper frustrated, because you are literally burning. And no one can see the fire. No one can see how, because you're like, why are you acting like you burning? It's because they don't see the paper cuts that you just accumulated over the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It's important that I bring this up, and it's important that I touch on this topic, because when I say environment and community is so important, you have to start to develop the skill and have the lens to properly identify what is safe, what is edifying, what is going to be supportive and encouraging, not just for your mental or emotional health, but even really as a whole.
Can't keep going back to what I used to know.